Should Native Instruments join the standalone warfare with Akai? Let's talk about it. What's going on? I can't help myself. I think it's very funny. I think it's funny for a couple of reasons. One, I remember when Akai was trying to catch up to Native Instruments and they was dropping the Renaissance and the MPC Studio, and I saw no appeal in that. It was just like, what? Like, okay. Native Instruments was kicking Akai's ass, just to be fair. And by the way, guys, I'm not a shield for Akai or Native Instruments because I'm going to have both positive and negative things to say about both of these guys. But yeah, being the Renaissance, I saw it with a lot of, it was very popular with a lot of producers. I think I saw it with Ray Murray and Rico Wade and Sleepy Brown over there at Stankonia. That's the Dungeon Family, aka Organized Noise. That's the three producers there. And they enjoy it a lot. But also I seen Sleepy Brown with the Maschine MK3, and he gets down on that as well. But yeah, a lot of people use that, and I've even kicked it with Native Instruments on a couple of things, and I've seen people bring it up in front of their faces, like a couple of the corporate people. But there's things that people don't understand that goes on behind the scenes with Native Instruments that they have to consider if they're gonna drop a standalone unit. And I know I'm all over the place with this story, but of course I was talking about the Renaissance. So going with the Renaissance and all that, there was some people that were saying, man, I just really wish Akai would return back to royalty and do a standalone unit. Thus, years have passed. They did the Touch, not a good look. Then they did the Live. And that was pretty big because it's a standalone unit that can work with the computer as well. Now, we all know that the Maschine MK3 only works with the computer. And, you know, at the price point that the MPC Live is about $1,000. You know, most people are going to go over there to what? The cheaper unit, right? That just works just fine. And I'll talk about why I don't like the Maschine MK3 and all that a little later. But, you know, going a little forward here to 2020, the MPC One is here. It costs $700. The Maschine costs $699 or $700, but it only works with the laptop. The MPC One works with the laptop or standalone. You can just use it by itself, and now you see where we're at now. It's about time for Native Instruments to make a decision. I'm sure of it that they will do a standalone unit, but do I think it's a good look? Absolutely not. My dog. Oh. But now I definitely want to hear from you guys in the comment section. Yes, please leave a comment about if you want to see a machine that is standalone again and why they should do it. So to add context to the argument here, I have a comparison chart that's available at sweetwater.com. So all you have to do is just type in MPC One standalone or MPC One, and then you get these great charts, and they compare everything by price point and by features of things that you would really like if you wanted to get a sampler. So I mean, the MPC One in itself, I did a review on that, and I have that at the top right of the screen if you want to see that review. I quite enjoyed it, as well as a review for the Native Instruments Maschine MK3, which I enjoyed that when it was released. Yeah, like they're both really good products. Of course, the MPC One takes it up a notch, especially in price point here. You can see it's $700, and it is a standalone unit, as well as a MIDI controller that you could use with their software that they have, the Akai software. And I think it's really good. Like, I really do. The Maschine has its own software. Of course, you only can use it with the laptop, and it does have an audio interface on it, but you know, long story short, you can only use it with a laptop or a desktop computer. Nonetheless, a lot of people love it, enjoy it. I enjoyed it when I had it, and it comes with a lot of stuff, comes with a lot of software. It's really good, but it is close to the same price as the MPC One, so that's where the whole dilemma begins for Native Instruments if they want to make that move. I don't think it would be, if they did do a standalone unit, would be this cheap or this cheap. So you got to understand that this is 3 years in the making here. The MPC Live on release was about $1,100, and then you also have the 101 Music Black Box Studio, which is very compact, very small, and if I'm not mistaken, it does. Oh, it says it's USB power, so it doesn't work with a battery or anything like that. So, you know, it's comparable. You see why Akai went with no battery inside of the MPC One, even though I think they should do a more expensive version of this in the future. I just think it really would make sense, especially with its form factor now. And it just depends on what their research and development team can do as far as optimizing the ion battery if they do that. But you can also buy a battery pack for this. But I digress. Over here, they're offering, as far as like Roland, is the TR8S, and you know, the reality of that is they have the MC, I can't remember the MC 707, and it costs way more and it does way less than this right here. And then you had the Electron Digitach, which was something I was gonna get before they announced the MPC One, and it's a sampler too. It has a lot of their re-triggering and a lot of their new quirkiness that they have. No ion battery or anything like that. So again, you see why the MPC One didn't have an ion battery. About that, it's just about where the Native Instruments sits in here as far as their standalone unit. Yeah, so it's quite complicated, and you really have to think to yourself from a corporate standpoint, what would Native Instruments do in terms of dropping a standalone unit? I definitely want to hear from you guys, because this is an open discussion, and as you can see, a lot of things can't be compared nonetheless from one, either or. It's just about the workflow and whatever choice that you want. But it's kind of easy to see why the MPC One is already sold out. It's already sold out. So yeah, I don't think it's a good idea for Native Instruments to jump into this rabbit hole of the standalone. And I know it's a new wave and it's a trend or whatnot, but you know, Akai has their own thing. I think Native Instruments should have their own thing, but if they did come up with one, I probably would get it. But however, if y'all are expecting MPC One prices for a standalone unit from Native Instruments, I don't think that would be in the best of interest for Native Instruments. Altogether, research and development alone is going to cost them a lot of money, because they're not a part of the M Music umbrella, and fighting against the M Music umbrella right now, that is insane. In that M Music umbrella, there's a lot of heavy hitters. Like, there are people that you cannot ignore that can do a lot of, they are doing stuff with the standalone technology. Also, they just got to come up with their own OS, and I don't think it would be a good idea just off the strength of the fact their software is not all that great these days. Like, when I tried to do something outside of sampling in the Maschine software, it was not working very well. And I'm just being quite honest here. I'm just being 100% real with you guys. Like, my experience as far as not sampling wasn't great with the Maschine MK3. I'm not a 100% sample-based producer. If you're a 100% sample-based producer, I think you will really love the Maschine MK3. And the other reason why I think that it didn't work very well for me, it was the screen itself. Like, one thing I found out about the OLED screens that are on these units, when you have these quote-unquote hybrid controllers, even though I think the MPC One is the first hybrid controller because it's standalone and you can plug it up, or actually not the MPC One, but the MPC Live and X. Like, the real estate that it takes from your virtual memory is ridiculous. Like, it takes a lot of resources from your virtual memory, and I tested that out myself by unplugging my Ableton Live push from Ableton Live, and I had more resources to work with within a song I was mixing, which kind of made it kind of pointless to use that. But that, I'm talking about as far as like doing a demonstration for you guys on YouTube. But for people that have less powerful laptops and such, which is going to happen in the music world, yeah, that is going to be a big problem. And yeah, that's a big problem with the Maschine MK3 that a lot of people don't know about and overlook. And it will happen like that. And a lot of people are going to say, well, the Akai, when you hook it up to the computer, wouldn't it have the same issue? No, because it has its own processor, it has its own virtual memory. So when it integrates itself with the software, it takes the load off of a lot of things. But at the same time, it will save the virtual memory that you would have from the screen being so high quality, and it will use the virtual memory in there. And that's a lot of things that people do not understand and don't give Akai credit for. That alone, So that standalone software, that standalone process that they have is actually better than a lot of people have intended or even thought about. Yes, Akai has a lot of things bad on their end. They have that's an understatement. But they have made clean strides to change stuff up in 3 years. In 3 years. Now, Native Instruments dragged ass for a long time on a lot of things, and I do understand it. Again, this is a whole thing behind research and development. Like, research and development is so important to these companies that you can't ignore that part of it. And when you do have like a standalone unit in question with a company like Native Instruments that's already have shown signs of struggling, laid off employees and all that, this is like public stuff, so I'm not trying to open up old wounds. Should it be a risk that Native Instruments should take? Yeah, but I don't think that the odds are in their favor. They would definitely have to do a lot of research and development. Might even have to talk to good old-fashioned Akai about their stuff, even though like Akai is taking their technology because they're in the music branch with Denon. And that's another thing I want to talk about. They have a portable DJ controller from Denon right now that uses the whole standalone setup, and it looks very akin to their MPC software, and it works really well. Holy crap. Briefly going off topic here, I do think that honesty is the best policy, and that's why I try to stay as neutral as possible by being honest. And if that means missing out on a sponsorship or two, I think it's very helpful to criticize. And, you know, I don't want to be that guy that just says, oh, well, the Akai Fire is fire. You should bring it out to everybody, even though it's missing features, missing key features. I don't want to be that guy. Or the guy that yet again co-signs the Akai Force before it's ready to actually be released and say, push it on out there, it is good. Or the guy that says, yeah, Mass Effects, let's just get it out there. And man, that's a whole nother topic that I already covered. But anyways, just let me know how you feel in the comment section. I definitely want to hear from you guys. How do you feel about this video? And yeah, standalone or not?